Right, okay everyone, we are on the eve of another major Celtic game. It feels like these derbies are coming around pretty regularly at the moment. This one is at Celtic Park. I am also at Celtic Park. You might not be able to tell that behind me because the lighting's a wee bit funny. Hopefully you can see me all right. Never fails to amaze me, guys, how quiet Celtic Park is, not on match days, and then you get to the game tomorrow and everyone's going to be here, apart for the Rangers fans, but they're going to be up for it in the Celtic end, and we're very excited, aren't we? I should say we've got Jackie McNamara and Asim back on the channel. Jackie, how are we feeling about this game then? You excited, nervous?
I'm looking forward to it. It should be an interesting one. Obviously, we spoke a lot before before the final, and what the team selections and stuff would be, and I don't think there'll be many surprises. Obviously, wait to see who's fit for Celtic, but it'll be interesting to see what Rangers do to try and stop Celtic. Especially in the midfield area. You see in the last game that he made changes, one or two that you thought would maybe start. Maybe trying to stay in the game and be a bit more physical. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the starting lineups and seeing how they'll come out. Got a wee feeling they might go and change the shape as well. They might go three at the back or something like that because they finished that in the game last week.
Right, okay.
Interesting.
So, in terms of nerves, I don't know if I asked you that. How do you get nerves before these games, even though your playing days are over?
Probably more nervous when I was finished than
Right.
I think when you're a player. When you're a player, you always felt you could do something about it.
How do you think
When
me
you're a
and Asim
fan,
feel?
I know. I think you are when you're a player and you're not. If you're injured or something like that, you get nervous. And you're sitting watching because you want to be out there and you want to be part of it, and you're confident that you can make an impact in the game. Whereas if you're standing at the side, it's like the same when you're a manager. You're a manager in a team. You're hoping everybody does their jobs, and you're nervous for everything else because you can't control it. Whereas when you're a player, you feel you can control a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I asked you about the nerves, I don't know what's happened to me, Asim. I'm not really feeling too nervous this time. I mean, it reminds me of, I don't know if you remember 2019 when we played them in the League Cup final and Julian scored the winner. So nervous going into that, nervous for weeks, just like the recent final. And then we played them a few weeks later here, and I wasn't nervous at all. I thought, oh, we can't play as badly as that. We'll win again, and they turned us over here. So I'm always more worried when I'm not nervous for these games, and I don't know. I think Celtic are going to do the business. So, am I wrong to think that? Am I right to think that? What do you think?
No, I know what you mean. I'm the same. I think for the final there, I was as nervous as I've been for quite a while going into that one. I don't know why. There was a kind of nervous tension going into it. With this one, yeah, probably because of the situation we're in as well. We're in such a healthy position in the league, so it's almost one of those. It's not a must-win game. Quite similar, I feel, to last year. This time last year, we just beat County, and then the following week we had, I think, the home game against them, and again, it was more of a must-win for them, and it ended up being a draw where obviously it worked out for us in terms of the title, but it was a wee bit like a flat feeling at the end of the game. So I'm just hoping tomorrow it'll be different. I think we'll go in all guns blazing looking for that win. I don't think as much as a draw suits us, I don't think we'll be obviously going in with that kind of mentality at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, Jackie. In any other team, you might be kind of thinking, oh, Celtic, well, we're kind of all right with a point here in terms of the league title, but I don't sense that from Ange, from the players. I don't even sense that from any fans either. Yes, a draw is not the end of the world for us, but I think we all really want to hammer this home and win.
Yeah, I think so. I think because of Ange's approach as well. You don't have. He's not going to change anything to go into the game. He's going to go about it the same as every other match to go and win it. He's not going to put everybody behind the ball, and even though he doesn't need to win it, but it's not in his makeup to go and just go and make sure we get the point today. It's not. It's to go and win the match and go and try and win it in style.
I can't imagine him ever saying let's just go out and get the point today. So I think you're spot on. It's going to be let's go out and show them what we're all about. Injury wise, guys, we are as always, usual caveats, recording this prior to the Ange press conference, so I think we are guessing to an extent. Most of you watching this will know by now what the situation is with Taylor, with Hatate, with Moy as well. I know in training on Wednesday, the club put out a video and Moy was definitely in training, full training, contact training. So it seems like he's fit. Taylor and Hatate weren't present, Jackie. So given that was Wednesday, a few days out from the game, how worried should fans be? Can players train once or twice and still make a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, you would imagine, as long as they're training the day before, through my own experience in '98, and I'd play on the Saturday and I couldn't train to the Friday before the following Saturday. Some weeks, you weren't going to lose any fitness at this time of season. If you're doing it over a longer period, then obviously, you can suffer a little bit. But I wouldn't worry too much about them not being match fit if they've only trained the one day. But I think he's made changes and there's not been any problems doing that with the squad that he's shaped up, and I think it'll be the same. Whoever comes in, they'll be asked to do the job, and they're more than capable of doing that.
How much of a blow would it be? I take on board what you're saying, but Hatate especially. Taylor as well is a very important player. How much of a blow would that be, Jackie, if Hatate wasn't fit for the game?
I still think he's got more than enough in midfield area. You look at there, it's maybe slightly different. They're all different types. Moyes changed it. Callum can play deeper. He can play more forward, and you've still got other ones to come in, and he's got more than enough quality. To not miss Hatate. Obviously, you want him playing, but Taylor, likewise, Bernabei came in last week and scored a goal, and hopefully he gets a lot of confidence from that he's going to push, because you need him to push Taylor for the jersey, same as Ralston done with Juranovic last year, and obviously he needs to push Johnson now as well. So it's healthy competition.
Yeah, we'll come back to Bernabei in a second. Asim, what's your take on the whole kind of injury stuff?
Yeah, we spoke about it all season, how strong our squad's been looking. When we've had such a strong bench and in games, and you look at the different options we've got. So I guess this is a true test of it, to see how we can cope without, if we have got a few players missing. I agree with you, Hamish. It's unfortunate in terms of they're two very important players in how we play. For Taylor especially, I think he's one of the few positions which has been rotated the least this season. When he's fit, he usually plays. And Hatate, out of the midfielders, I feel just gives us the most kind of dynamic and creative options. I think without him and Moy at the weekend, we've seen that we kind of struggled in that department a little. So I think having Moy back at least is a huge boost. But ideally, just with the form Hatate's been in, it would be a blow. There's no denying that. But it gives the other guys a chance. It gives Matt O'Reilly a chance again to show what he's capable of. And we've got the players there. So I'd hope it's still strong enough.
Pick our teams in a wee second, guys, so have a wee think about that. Just first of all, Jackie, on Bernabei, as a former fullback yourself, I don't know if we've asked you this, what have you made of his start? Do you think there's a player there? What parts of his game do you think he needs to work on?
I think he'll be working on it day to day. I mean, you can see how long it took Taylor to come in and win over and do well under not just under Ange but under Neil as well. It does take time. They come to a club like Celtic to understand the demands of that and what is expected. So he is young, and as I said, he'll get a lot of confidence for scoring last week. It was a good finish, coming on in the game, scoring a goal. So he's only going to get better and stronger and more understanding of how the team plays and how he's got to play his part to get in and try and put pressure on Taylor for the jersey.
Did you ever score a goal like he did last week?
Oh, aye, he's scored better than that,
aye. Better than that. In fact, you have to be fair. You've scored it with your weaker foot as well.
Aye, against different opposition in Liverpool and stuff like that, but we'll not go there.
We'll just drop in Liverpool against your Ross County.
It's against England keeper as well. But I mean, don't like to talk about it.
Humble as always, Jackie. We'll move on and pick our team, guys. Should we be really positive, optimistic, and assume that Taylor, Hatate, and Moy are all going to be fit? Asim, does the team pick itself?
So I think you'll see, obviously, Hart in goals. I think Johnston at right back, usual centre back pairing of Carter Vickers and Starfelt. Taylor if he's fit, McGregor, Hatate, Moy, and then I think you'll see Kyogo on either side of him, Jota and Maida. I think, like you say, I think that's probably what most people would pick if everyone's available.
I mean, there's no Abada this time. He's often a talking point going into these games. There's obviously no James Forrest. I mean, O'Reilly, Iwata, Jackie, are either of them done enough to start this game?
No, I agree with Asim. I think that'll be everybody fit. I think that'll be starting 11. That'll be his team to start. I think if they're fit, and again, you've got good options there to change it if you need be. O'Reilly, he's been obviously waiting patiently for an opportunity again, and these are the games to do it in if you get the opportunity.
Haksabanovic. I thought Turnbull was great off the bench last week as well. Bernabe, obviously. So all of these players, could have a part to play. Who are the key players, Asim? Or pick one. Who's the key player for the game tomorrow?
I think Jota again. I just think when he's on it and he's our most creative spark, and he's risen to it in the game earlier this season at Celtic Park against them. He scored a couple of goals actually in this fixture in the home games. So yeah, I think if he's on it again, I just feel like when he's on form, and he really does create so much for us. You've obviously got Maida on the other side, who'll be his usual kind of nuisance. But yeah, I'm hoping for a kind of Jota masterclass tomorrow again.
Because we've maybe not seen enough of it. Is that harsh? Maybe recently he's been slightly off the boil.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But in fairness to him, even in the games where it's maybe not coming off, he's stepped up. But if you look back in kind of recent weeks, St Mirren away game, and then even at the weekend there against Ross County, I thought he stepped up, took the penalty, and then second half was better. So yeah, he's not been at his most fluent best, but I think he's taken on a different kind of role in the team where he's almost like a leader and he's pushing everyone on, and you see how he G's the crowd up and things like that. So yeah, I think he's due a great performance, and hopefully this is the one.
Yeah, it's Kyogo for me is the main man. I'm so excited for that trademark Celtic move we've seen this season that we saw for the 2 Cup final goals. Ball played through to a winger. Hatate, Greg Taylor, whoever puts it across, Kyogo standing on his own and taps it in. We're going to score one of them tomorrow at least, guys. Guaranteed from me. You've heard it here. So Kyogo for me is the one I'm excited about. Jackie, is there a key player you could pick out for the game?
I think the guys you've mentioned would be 2. Obviously, Jota. You always think, is Jota better on the left or the right hand side? And obviously, he switches with Maeda. Carter Vickers, I think, is going to be crucial as well to keep it steady at the back when the full backs are going forward. But I think these games in the last wee bit, it's been the midfield that's been the most important. I think it was the same in the final. I thought Celtic dominated the midfield area, and obviously Rangers changed it later on and brought on their new players. But that's why I'm interested to see how it starts tomorrow and how they shape up, and who their 3 in the midfield does to try and stop the Celtic's creativity in there.
Yeah, you can usually tell from early on in these games, how they're going to go. Jackie, looking back at your playing career, is there a bit of advice you ever got from a manager, or even something you learned yourself from these fixtures that you think still stands the test of time, with the games nowadays?
I think it's always the same, like about the actual occasion. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up in the occasion and everything else. And to be honest, I don't think the players are like that now. Anyway, as I said, there's games there that you're fighting and stuff like that. I don't get that now.
So, tell us about that then. Like, so you maybe in another fixture you wouldn't have reacted in a certain way, or?
It's hard to say, but I mean, the actual games. One of the games that was, I think there was two sending offs. You know, the one that I'd caught Mark Catley with a left jab on the chin. He got sent off. I didn't get sent off. He get sent off. I think along with Malky. I don't know if it was Malky, but it's the one with the cameo with Ian Ferguson. You know, he's going to snap his leg kind of thing. I think it was 9 bookings in that game. So I've been in quite a number of games like that where there's been a few red cards and it's you know a few nasty challenges and but you don't seem to get that anymore. Um, just don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there's that many cameras now as well, which doesn't help. And VAR.
I was going to say, what was your favourite Celtic Rangers game? Because I kind of grew up around that time, so many good memories.
Yeah,
But for you, what would you say?
I think the two sort of crucial ones in my time were being the the first one was the 2-0 game with Lambo scored a cracker and Craig Burley. That was a kind of turning point to go and win the league for us that season to stop the 10. And the second one would have been Martin's the first game against him, the 6-2 game with Henrik. Henrik scored the best goal, best goal in that fixture, the best goal I've seen for a long time, in that match. So I think they two were special ones for us.
Did you see Jota reacting to that Larson goal earlier in the week, Jackie? There was a video going about.
Yeah, yeah. Although Big Sutty takes a lot of credit for letting the ball bounce off his head into Henrik's pass, he claims an assist for that, Sutty.
What were the rest of you saying after that goal? You must have just been like, "That's one of the best
just
things I've ever
it's just
seen."
just wow. But even the Meg before it, with the Meg's Conterman,
Yeah,
and then to be in that second, your intuition just to go, do you know what, I'm just going to chip this. It's just, it was just, but the noise in the stadium that day, it was just incredible. The atmosphere, and as I said, I've been on many a game against Rangers, but for me, that one was special.
yeah, the golf's on at the moment, and that shot from Larson was like a kind of pitching wedge, wasn't it? It was just lovely over close.
It
Um,
was.
the, yeah, the home form we've got this season, guys. We've won all 15 of our league games so far. Now I was looking back, spent far too long yesterday looking back through the history books at all our previous years, and we've never gone an entire league season of winning every single home game. And we're 4 away. If we win tomorrow, there's a really good chance to do it. I think you went close a couple of times, Jackie, in your day. Maybe drew a couple against Rangers in different seasons. But the form we've shown this year is incredible. I doubt that's really going to be on Ange's mind, but it's something that we can talk about. Rangers, that mob. Shall we chat a wee bit about them? Not too long, but anyone that concerns you, Asim? I think I asked you that last time and you said no.
I'm just intrigued, like Jackie said, to see how the shape and how they go about it. I just think because of the amount of criticism they got after the cup final, I just can't imagine them sitting off the way they did in that fixture. I think they'll try and press us much further up the pitch, which will be interesting to see how we then tackle that, because we're not used to that. Teams don't often come in domestically anyway, come and press us. So I think it'll be a big game for our centre backs, and how we deal with that, because I think they'll do that. I think they will play a different midfield. I think we'll see the likes of Cantwell and Raskin, if he's fit, start this one. And I think they'll probably bring in Sakala again for the pace. So I think it'll be interesting, because I don't think it'll be similar to the cup final in terms of the ebb and flow of it. I think it'll be a different type of game, and it's just whether we can then use that to our advantage and use the fact that they have to come out to basically do what we do best, and play through them.
I agree with you totally. I think they are going to come out and go after us. I think they were wounded after that cup final. You saw the reaction from their support. They were raging at Michael Beale for the team he picked and almost showing Celtic too much respect. So I think regardless of it being here with no away fans, etc., I really think they're going to come after us in the game tomorrow, Jackie. And it just kind of comes down to how we can play through that. I mean, we have the quality, and I guess if we can beat the press, so to speak, it should open up opportunities for us.
Yeah, said I think we'll obviously understand more when we see their team. Because part of me, as I said, they finished the game last week with three at the back. I thought was that maybe one eye to maybe change it, because if you look at the goals that they've conceded, mostly against us, that a lot of them come down between the full backs and the centre backs, and in that wee bit there, the goals that Celtic score. Kyogo's always in between the sticks. He's always at one touch finish. He's always there. So we go an extra man at the back and then push the full backs into wing backs, which would mean would be a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2 if you like. So maybe Sakala and another with pace to try and catch on the break, and but it's going to be interesting. You said that. I think I'd be surprised if they come and press from the front. I will.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised at that. I think they've let them come so far, and they'll try and catch on the break.
Okay. I mean, in terms of that 3-5-2 or whatever, what if they did play that? What would they then miss out on elsewhere in the pitch, and where could we exploit that?
Well, their widths, if you look at the games against them, the widths always came from their full backs anyway. They're two sort of wider ones. Kent seems to be more of a kind of free roll, and Sakala likewise, rather than there. So the width will still come from them, but they'll get extra support from behind in the defensive area. And their three midfielders, whoever they'll be, and so you're taking away they're going to be Kent and Sakala, but you've not got an out ball to somebody to protect the ball, either Golach or Morelos, to go and compete against the centre backs. So you would maybe take Kent or Sakala off to start with, to bring on to change it. But again, as I said, we can have these conversations because you know what Ange's going to do.
Yeah.
They'll be working all week to try and stop that, and how to stop it. Whereas Ange's not going to change how he goes about it or his approach, but they need to, because they need to win it. So they've got to try and find a way to win the match. Celtic will just go about it in a normal game.
Yeah, I always think, coming into games like this with, a positive attitude is the best way to be. And everything, I don't know if you guys heard Callum McGregor's interview in midweek, and it was all positive about sticking to the game plan and, showing what we're about. And you listen to kind of some of their players speaking, and a lot of it seems to be, we're going to show them that there's not a gap, and that's a kind of negative way to look at it. So I'm really hopeful that, we're going to go out and... Are you getting that from me, that I'm quite confident about this game? I know I'm probably going to regret that after the match, but I'm just feeling good about it. What about the fact there's no away fans? I'll ask you both, Asa. I mean, does that have any impact in the game at all? I assume it makes you feel better about our chances?
Yeah, I think we're obviously used to the reduced allocations now. The one in February last year was with no fans as well, wasn't it? The midweek one, and that was great. That was one of the best kind of recent memories I've got of the fixture, in terms of atmosphere and just everything that night. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact it makes, in terms of from the players' perspective. I think for us fans, obviously, it's great if it's going well, and we can get an early start ahead up, in the way we have done in the last couple of games. I don't think from a player's perspective, I don't know. Jackie, you'll know better. Do you think it is something that has a big bearing in terms of the players?
Personally, I like having the away fans at the ground. I think it's the way it should be. It's a different atmosphere when they're there. It's more, it's more a nervy one when they're there, and it's a more, I don't say toxic, but I think you know what I mean. It's your main rival. As a player, I liked the fans there, both sides. I think that's part and parcel of the fixture.
I've not heard, one former player saying anything other than that, and I think it's just a shambles, the situation we're in, and we know who's doing it is. So yeah, we'll move on from that. But yeah, I'm just really excited for this. I just think this Celtic team is always answering the big questions. I just think it's a huge opportunity for us to effectively clinch the league. I mean, if we win, we're going to be champions. I take your point, Asim, about it being similar to last season. It's maybe 3 or 4 games earlier, so there's maybe slight differences there. And I think last year when we got that draw, that was it. I think if we got a draw this time, you certainly would be thinking would be massive favourites, but there's still a wee bit of work to be done. So I really want to win the game tomorrow and put it to bed. Referee wise, off the top of my head, I think it's Kevin Clancy's a ref, and Nick Walsh on VAR. I'll stick all the other assistants and whatnot on a graphic on screen right now for you. And we'll just finish with your closing thoughts, Asim, starting with you. You can put in a big prediction if you want, but you may well run the risk of being laughed at.
I know, I do. I'm like you. I feel confident for this one. I think everyone's just so excited for it. We've had a long week of build up with no midweek games, so it's just been all focus on this. Obviously, we'll hope for positive updates with regards to injuries, but I think regardless of what team we put out there, the options we have, the home factor, it should be a rocking atmosphere. So yeah, I'm confident we'll get the job done and win by a couple of goals.
Jackie?
Yeah, same. I think I said the last game I thought it was going to be 3-1. It should have been the chances and the missed 1v1s in the last couple of minutes. Tomorrow I think it will be 2-1. 2-1 to Celtic.
Okay. Very good. Very exciting. 3-0. I think we're going to win 3-0. That's what I've thought all week. Just got a feeling. I just think we'll start, really well. The last 3 derbies, I think we've scored relatively early goals, within 20 minutes, and they've really struggled to deal with that, certainly on 2 occasions. So I think we'll see something similar. And I just think that bench, guys, those options we have coming off the bench in the second half, Haksabanovic, I think, is going to run riot if he comes on against tired legs. I've already got him down for the 3rd goal, so hopeful with regards to that. And I hope you all enjoy the game wherever you're watching it, whether you're coming to Celtic Park, whether you're watching it around the world. It's going to be a special one, and hopefully we come out the right side of the result. Asim, you are on the post-match reaction as well, I believe, so we'll get your thoughts along with mine at full time. And Jackie, will catch up with you at some stage, hopefully when we're champions.
Yeah, enjoy.
Great stuff, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you after the game.